So in this Pogo, you're learning some new terms, the first of which is speed. And the speed of an object answers the question, how fast? Remember, that differs slightly from the other new term, velocity, which is how fast plus what direction. So when you're calculating speed, we can use the equation you see in the Pogo. Speed equals distance traveled, divided by time. Now, the distance is another vocab word that you need to know. And that answers the question how far total travel is. So we did this example in class where I talked about if somebody starts at 0 and goes to 2 and then goes back to 1, so they go like this, the distance they've traveled is 3, so we'll say meters. However, if they start at 0 and end up at 1, their displacement, which is a different measurement, is only 1. So we've gone over these in class, distance versus displacement. Remember that distance is a scalar quantity and displacement is a vector quantity. So velocity is a vector quantity and speed is the scalar. In the second part of the Pogo, you learn about average acceleration. Remember, we defined acceleration the other day in lab as the change in velocity. One way you can find that is from the slope of your velocity versus time graph. And the other way is using the equation that you're given in the Pogo. Average acceleration, which would look like this, equals the change in velocity divided by time. So acceleration, being a vector quantity, can be positive or it can be negative. The trick here is to figure out whether or not it's something is slowing down or speeding up. So let's say we have a positive velocity and a negative velocity. We'll fill out a little table. Positive acceleration, negative acceleration. If you have something with a positive velocity and its acceleration is also positive, that object will speed up because the acceleration works with the motion of the object. However, if something's velocity is negative, it's moving in the negative direction, and its acceleration is positive, that acceleration works against its motion, and that object slows down. Again, if we look at the positive velocity, the negative acceleration, that object slows down because they're working against each other. And then negative velocity, negative acceleration would be speeds up because the acceleration works with the motion of the object. This is where it gets really tricky because you may have heard these terms like deceleration or acceleration only meaning speeding up. We don't use these terms because acceleration just means changing your velocity. So in our class, we're going to stick to things like speeds up and slows down to help us figure out what an object is doing.